So at the beginning of this story, we can see Daki, a woman by that name. Actually, this woman had a laundry shop, but she recently went and applied to the bank for a business loan. Actually, she did this because recently, due to a short circuit, her shop caught fire. Because of this, all the goods in her shop were completely destroyed. And we learned that since she didn't have insurance either, this is why she would have to start all over again from scratch. This is why she wanted to take out a loan and start the business from the beginning. And since she had no other options available, this is why she relied on the hope of a bank loan. Although Daki had applied for loans at many banks, she was rejected by every single bank. Because Daki didn't have anything substantial to put up as collateral, which the bank would give her a loan in exchange for. However, one day when Daki was working, suddenly an assistant manager from a bank called her and said that your loan has been approved and it will be sent to processing next, but you'll have to pay a processing fee for this. Although Daki was a bit suspicious after hearing this at first, because the bank that had rejected her application just a few days ago, how could that same bank suddenly approve her application? She couldn't understand this thing. But since she desperately needed the money, this is why she didn't think too much about it and agreed to sign all the documents. She also agreed to pay the processing fee. We can see that assistant manager from the bank told her that your total loan of $80,000 has been approved. For this, you'll have to pay a large amount as processing fee. So he gave her a bank account number. And Daki, without thinking about anything, sent a large amount as processing fee to that account as he said. After doing all this, Daki felt a bit relieved. Because now she was hoping she might get the loan. But when even after giving the money, that employee wasn't giving any answer, then Daki went straight to the bank from there. And when she spoke at the bank, they found out that no call had been made to her from the bank. Moreover, the bank never takes money from its customers like this. Actually, maybe someone has done a big scam with you. So quickly go to the police and report it. But after hearing about this scam, Daki's world started falling apart. Actually, while trying to get this loan, Daki had lost her last remaining resources, meaning the last savings she had. Anyway, now since Daki has no other option, Daki goes to the police cyber department to file a complaint. Here, Officer Benny takes her complaint. But when he learns that the scammer gradually took $32,000 from this woman, he becomes quite shocked. So he asks Daki why the scammer asked for money from you bit by bit, and you kept giving money repeatedly. Don't you know how to read and write? Moreover, how can a person be so naive? People shouldn't be so naive that it becomes a cause of danger for them. But we can see that after hearing such words from the police, Daki becomes even more panicked. She was already panicked before. And hearing the police's words, she becomes even more nervous. So she answers the police saying, "Look, sir, I was already quite scared. My business was about to sink completely. So when he told me he was calling from the bank, I completely ignored this matter. I didn't even go to the bank to check. Moreover, you know that when people are in trouble, their brain stops working. So now I don't have time to sit around. Just tell me this much. What can I do to get my money back?" Now after hearing all this, Officer Benny clearly understands that Daki is already under a lot of stress. So he doesn't put too much pressure on her anymore. He says, "Look, even if you want to, you can't do anything now. Our job is to investigate. We will definitely do that. Now you just have to sit calmly and wait. You have nothing else to do except wait." And then we learn that actually Benny himself had become very annoyed with such fraud cases that came in daily. But he knew very well that he had to help Daki in any way possible. Because this was Daki's last resource. So he decided to help her with everything he had. Anyway, after this we learn that Daki has 2 small children as well. But since she now stays at the laundry, she had put her children in daycare. But keeping them there also required money. So the caretaker there gave Daki her children's bags and said, "Actually, I can't keep your children here for free. Because other parents complain that you're keeping other people's children for free, but you're taking money to keep our children. This can't happen at all." Actually, then we learn that this caretaker had told her a complete lie. Because no such incident had happened. No parents had complained. After this, Daki comes to her workplace with her 2 children. And then we learn that after Daki's shop burned down, Daki had started working at a laundry company. Although fortunately, her colleagues were very good. Along with working, they also took care of her children. Among them, one was named Chungmin and another was named Ajin. And then the scene moves to another city in China. We can see there was a huge scam group here, where many young guys worked. Actually, Then we learn that these young guys were brought here from different countries with job offers, and later they were imprisoned here and forced to make various scam calls. If someone didn't want to do this, they would be physically tortured. They were even threatened with killing their family members. And this entire group together would make scam calls to various people and steal all their money. Actually, since these guys were experts with computers, they would steal bank data and analyze it. Whenever they saw someone had applied for a loan or credit card, they would collect more detailed data about them and make such fraud calls, and later do a huge scam with them, meaning they would steal money from them. Just like what happened with Daki. And then we can see that guy who made the fake call and stole money from Daki. Actually, this guy's name was Jamin. And by deceiving people like this, now Jamin had become an expert at his job. Although Jamin didn't like doing these things at all. But like the other guys, he was also trapped here. So he was forced to do these things. Then one night, when Jamin was trying to escape from here, his attention fell on a room next door. He could see two guys had been caught while escaping, who had just been brought back here. And a guy from here told one of the boys, "Even if you had succeeded in escaping from here, we would have uploaded your sister's nude photos that we have on social media." But after hearing this, that boy became extremely angry and started cursing at them. But then the big boss there beat that boy to death right there. And he also broke the legs of the other boy, so that after seeing this example, no one would even think of trying to escape from here. And after seeing all this, Jamin also became very scared. So he abandoned the thought of escaping and went back to his room. And he understood very well that if he wanted to escape from here, he would have to make some other plan. Meanwhile, one day Officer Benny called Daki and said, "Daki, the account you transferred the money to was an overseas fake account. Actually, that account holder withdrew the money from the account and also closed that account." Then Daki said, "Sir, what does this mean?" Then Benny said, "This means we can no longer track that account holder, meaning that scammer, even if we want to. Meaning you won't get your money back. Just forget about it." And Benny also advised her saying, "Consider this a mistake and remember it for life, so that you don't fall into such a scam in the future." But after hearing this, Daki becomes completely shocked. Because all this time she had been waiting, hoping for the police. Actually, to submit that processing fee, Daki had not only given all her savings, but she had also taken some money as loans from some people. Now those people have started asking for their money back. So Daki, extremely frightened, takes her car and leaves to meet Benny directly. But when she was on the road, Jamin calls her again. And when Daki hears Jamin's voice, she becomes extremely angry at him and tells him, "I borrowed money from thugs and gave it to you, and now you've trapped me. I have 2 small children who are now in huge danger because of you. Please give my money back." But then Jamin tells her, "Actually, I didn't do this work willingly. Me and various other guys like me are being forced to do these jobs. But now I'm ready to be your informant. You help me, then I'll also help you." But after hearing all this, at first Daki doesn't understand anything. She thought maybe he was trying to emotionally manipulate her and trap her in another web again. But then Jamin tells her, "I myself am trapped here. I can't even call the police from here if I wanted to. But you can call the police if you want." Then Daki asks him, "Why are you asking for help from me specifically?" Then Jamin tells her, "Because your brain works very fast. You never waste time thinking and pondering. You are my only client who managed so much money in just 2 days. And Jamin warns her saying, "The work we're about to do is very risky. So be very careful with every step. Actually, I'll give you all the information about this gang. And through that, with the police's help, you'll come here and rescue me in any way possible. If you do this, you'll get your money back and I'll be free from here." Now after hearing all this, Daki quickly tries to call Benny. But Benny wasn't picking up the call. But then Jamin calls her again and gives her an English word. And immediately after giving this word, he cuts the phone. But after getting this, when Daki comes to the police station, she can see Benny was already involved in another scam case. But still she somehow goes to Benny and tells him that Jamin has contacted me again, and he gave me an English word. And when I typed it on the Korean keyboard, I got the location of that call center. And then they learn that actually that scammer's office was in a city called Qingdao in China. But after hearing all this, Benny tells her, "The scammer who took all your money a few days ago, why is he now trying to help you by giving his location? Actually, he's trying to trap you in another scheme. Besides, since this case has been closed, I can't help you even if I wanted to." But then Daki tells him, "At least you can do a search of that place. You can at least find out whether that place is right or wrong." But then Benny tells her, I'm already involved in a bigger scam case, so I can't help you even if I wanted to. Please forgive me. After hearing all this, Daki becomes very upset and decides to go back home and find that location herself. But then an idea comes to her mind. She thinks that there must be other people who became victims of scams like her. So she decides to bring them all together. For this, she puts up posters in various places so that she can unite everyone. Then she learns that a social agency has announced a reward of $100,000 for catching those scammers. After that, when Daki goes and talks with all the scam victims connected to that agency, she learns that actually, being scam victims, someone lost their elderly pension, someone lost their child's education fees. Many people even lost their entire life savings that they had worked so hard to accumulate. But after this, Daki learns through news channels that actually those scammers set their next targets through bank data and later call them and scam them. But the most interesting thing is they manage all this through overseas call centers. And since all those accounts are foreign accounts, local police can't do anything even if they want to. And since local politicians and big MPs and ministers of the country are involved with them, the government doesn't make any effort to catch them either. Anyway, after this, Jaemin calls Daki again. And this time Jaemin asks her what actually happened. Did you go to the police station? Then Daki says, yes, I went to the police station. But the police directly refused to do anything. They're saying we can't do anything with so little evidence. If we can get all the documents of that call center, then maybe we can take some action. But actually this was a very difficult task for Jaemin to do. So Jaemin directly refuses to do it. But then Daki consoles him saying, if you can send me evidence, then I will definitely take some steps to get you out. I will think of something and figure it out. But without evidence, I can't do anything even if I want to. So she gives Jaemin one of her fax numbers. And she says, if you can manage to get evidence, then send it to this fax number of mine. But after this, Daki learns that people from the Child Protection Center have come and are trying to take Daki's children away from here. Actually, since Daki is taking her children out of school and keeping them in a laundry, they've come to take her children away. Although Daki tries to explain to them that within 2 days she will rent a new place and start living normally with her children. But the woman there tells her that until these matters are sorted out, they will stay under our protection. Saying just this much, she takes the children and leaves. And after seeing this, Daki completely breaks down from her heart. Because her children were her only hope, for whom she was working so hard day and night. But now her children have also gone far away from her. But then Daki's co-worker Chungmin tells her, if you want your children back, you have to get your money back. And if you want to get your money back, you must catch those scammers. But for the police to go to China and catch those scammers was a very difficult matter. So the police couldn't do anything either. But then Ajin tells her, I have a cousin sister who lives in that Qingdao city. We can go there if we want. And after hearing this, Daki gets some hope back. So she says, your cousin probably knows that city well. So if she helps us, maybe we can find that location. But we can see that after hearing this, Ajin tells her, the scammers that the police couldn't catch, how can we go and catch them? But Chungmin was actually a bit more courageous. So she says, if we can go there once, we will find something or other that can be useful to the police. And later the police will catch those scammers based on that. And after hearing this, Daki also says, yes, she's right. Our job will be just to go there and collect some information about that call center and bring it back. And later the police will take action based on that. The police will catch those scammers. And since a reward of $100,000 has been announced for catching them, maybe hoping for that, the police will try to catch them quickly. Now after seeing Daki's such helpless condition, both of them agree to help Daki. And after this, all three of them take 5 days off and take the next flight straight to Qingdao City. And to pick them up, Ajin's cousin Arim also comes, who had her own taxi. And when Daki learns about this, she says, since we have our own taxi, maybe we won't have much trouble finding that location. Then Arim says that yes, maybe it won't be too much of a problem. But where is that address? And when she checks the address properly, then she finds out that the address Daki had was only half of an address. Through this, finding that call center will be very difficult. But still they decide to try. Though while searching, they first go to the wrong place, which is why they have to face many difficulties as well. But then, on this side, we can see that in the call center, Jaemin was trying to find a mobile phone. So that through that mobile phone he could click pictures of this place and fax them to Daki. But actually, The problem here was that no one was given permission to keep mobile phones here. That's why he couldn't find any mobile phone. But then here a fat guy comes and starts beating that boy named Meso, the boy whose leg had been broken. But this time, Jamin can't tolerate this anymore. That's why he goes and attacks that fat guy. But instead, that fat guy grabs Jamin and beats him up. But this actually benefits Jamin. He becomes friends with Meso. Actually, this boy named Meso was brought here from another place with the lure of a job. And now he's imprisoned here and forced to do this work, and that's why he's become very upset, which is why he started doing drugs now. Since Jamin has become friends with him, Jamin shares everything with him and says that if we can arrange for a mobile phone, then maybe with the help of that mobile phone we can collect documents from here and get out of here with police help. And if I can get out once, then I'll take you with me too. And then Meso tells him that here, by showing greed for money, anyone can be made to do any work. That's why Jamin goes straight and starts bribing the supervisor here. And he requests him, saying, "Look, I've become tired of doing this call center work. Please give me some freedom from here. After I do duty here, in the free time I have, I'll work as your assistant. But still, I've become tired of making calls. Take me out of here and give me some other work." So, falling for the greed of money, the supervisor also accepts his request. And he gives him the responsibility of looking after all the boys. And taking advantage of this supervision, Jamin first goes and beats that fat guy who used to bully all the boys. Now since Jamin's work was different from the other boys, meaning his job was to supervise everyone, that's why he's also given a mobile phone. And with the help of this mobile phone, he starts clicking all the pictures of the call center one by one. And for this work, he also gets permission to go to different rooms. And after going to one room, he also gets the bank transaction data from here. He clicks pictures of that data too. But after clicking these, when he was trying to send them to Daki, then he realizes that there was actually no network here. And when he tries to call Daki, then he finds out that outgoing calls can't be made from this mobile either. Meaning, having this mobile or not having it is the same thing. There's no benefit from this mobile. And then, on the other side, we can see that trying to find the call center, Daki and her companions had become completely exhausted. They couldn't find that call center in any way. That's why they had become very disappointed. But Daki didn't want to give up hope in any way. She still believed that she would find it no matter what, though the others thought that maybe Jamin had fooled her. But Daki had complete faith that since she had come here, she would find it no matter what. Though doing this, their entire 4 days had been wasted. On the other side, we can see that the manager of this call center was preparing to betray his boss. Actually, he was telling his colleague that even after working so hard, the boss takes all the money. We should talk to our boss. We should demand more money. But then we can see that far away, sitting in some car, their boss hears all their words through hidden cameras and also sees everything. That's why their boss tells another person in the car that now the time has come to shut down this call center. After this, Jamin is given the responsibility of collecting new boys from the airport. But when Jamin collects them and puts them in the car, then after seeing the boys, he starts feeling very sympathetic because he was thinking these boys came with dreams like me, but now they're going to be trapped in hell. But he still sat quietly because it wasn't the right time to tell them these things. After this, when Jamin brings them to the call center, then all those boys are given a good beating and imprisoned in a room. But taking this opportunity, Jamin gets permission to go into the control room. Since there was internet access in the control room, and there was also a computer, that's why Jamin starts faxing all the pictures he had clicked to Daki one by one. But when he was doing this, Meso comes there. So Jamin somehow calms Meso down and says that I've found a new way to get out of here. I will definitely take you with me. But these faxes needed a lot of time to go. But in the meantime, another boy bribes the supervisor and gets permission to use the computer. And after hearing this, Jamin clearly understands that if that boy comes into the computer room, then both of them will get caught. That's why he asks Meso for help, and tells Meso to somehow stop that boy. That's why Meso goes and very cleverly keeps that boy stuck outside. And by this time all those faxes get sent, and when the police get so many faxes through Daki's reference, then they become completely shocked. They can see that here, along with the call center photos, there were also details of those overseas accounts and a long list of all transactions. And then the police chief learns through Benny that actually this scammer is the informant of that woman named Daki, who was a victim of scam some days ago. For further investigation to continue, they will also need Daki. On this side, we can see that since 5 days had been completed, until now Daki and her team couldn't find any information about that call center in any way. That's why they were all very disappointed. But then Benny's call comes to Daki. And when Benny finds out that Daki has gone to China to find the call center, then he becomes completely shocked. And after this, Benny tells her that that boy named Jaemin has sent us many faxes where there are many pictures, many bank account details, but he hasn't sent us any proper address. So even if we want, we can't take any action against them. We have to first find that address, then we have to take any action. After this, Benny tells her that a total of more than $70 million has been scammed, where 3,000 families have become victims. And saying this much, he also forwards all the pictures given by Jaemin to Daki. And when these women find out that the police have now taken this case seriously, then they feel much more motivated, because they find out that the police have got all the documents. Now they just have to find the address for them. And then the police notice that among all the pictures sent by Jaemin, there was also a picture of that building. And that's why, with Arim's help, they finally find that building too, which was in a public market. Now as soon as they get this building's address, everyone was saying to call Benny quickly and give him the address. But Daki was saying that no, I want to meet Jaemin first and confirm everything. And through that picture given by Jaemin, they recognize Jaemin as soon as they see him. And then the real game begins. Because Daki quickly calls Benny and informs him of the address here. And after this, she notices that in front of this building, many women were sitting with sewing machines. That's why she also sits down with a sewing machine. And on a signboard above, she writes those English letters given by Jaemin. Actually, she does this so that Jaemin can recognize her after seeing these. After this, the next day when Jaemin comes outside, then Daki tries to show that board to Jaemin so that Jaemin can recognize her. But Jaemin wasn't paying attention to her at all. But when he was crossing by car, then Jaemin's eyes fall on this board. And then he recognizes her very well. On the other side, in Korea, we can see that Benny comes straight to the police chief with the address sent by Daki, and showing him that address, he also takes permission from him to go to China. After this, the next day morning, Jaemin comes straight and meets Daki under the pretense of getting his shirt sewn. But when they were talking, a thug from the call center had also come with Jaemin. He came so that he could keep an eye on Jaemin. But after seeing this, Sukja takes him aside under the pretense of offering coffee. And taking this opportunity, Daki gives Jaemin her mobile and says, "With the help of this mobile, you can contact me if you want." After this, after going to the call center, whenever Jaemin gets the opportunity, he quickly comes to the bathroom. And right after going to the bathroom, Jaemin finds a letter given by Daki behind the mobile. In that letter, Daki had written to him that whenever your main boss comes to the call center, then you inform me. Because Benny will probably come to China very soon for investigation. Besides, he has kept in contact with the Chinese police, so they will only raid when your main boss is there. And then on this side, Benny calls Daki and says that tomorrow morning I will come to China, so just wait for this night, and at night, don't rush and make any kind of wrong decision. But at night, in the call center manager gathers all the boys in one place and says that tonight our boss will come to meet with us, and I have decided to talk to the boss about increasing money, so all of you stay a little alert. But through this manager, Jaemin finds out that the boss is coming here tonight. That's why he quickly goes to the washroom and messages Daki, saying that tonight the boss will come to us here. Now as soon as Jaemin's message is received, Daki and her friends become alert. And they take a car and stand below the call center, waiting for the boss to arrive at night. But instead of the boss, 2 vans come here, where there were many thugs. And they go straight into the building with various weapons and start killing people. Actually, then we find out this was the boss's doing, because the boss had heard the manager's words. He had understood that the manager could betray him at any time. On the other side, Jaemin hides under the table after seeing these people, and being extremely scared, he turns on the mobile's video so that everything can be recorded. But then a person pulls him out from under the table and stabs a knife into his stomach. And by this time, Daki and her friends below understand this whole situation, that something is definitely happening upstairs. And then they can see their boss has come here in a very expensive, high-end car. And after seeing this, Daki tries to go to this call center. But her friends stop her. They were saying, "Don't think of yourself as a superhero. They will kill you and cut you into pieces. Don't you see how many high-tech weapons they have? But then Daki can see that all the computers of this call center are being packed into boxes and taken to another place in a truck. This makes Daki clearly understand that actually they are preparing to escape from here. And then we can see Meso lying in the bathroom upstairs, who had fallen there while being high on drugs. That's why his life was saved. But now when he comes to his senses, he can hear all the boss's words. Actually, the boss had already found out through his personal informer that the police were coming here to raid tonight. That's why he wanted to escape from here with everything. And besides, since this team was also preparing to betray him, that's why he also wanted to finish this team. That's why the boss was planning to take all the computers, finish everyone in this team, and escape from here. And when Meso comes down, he can see the injured Jae-min. And then on the other side, we can see Benny calls Daki and says that I have reached China. I am at the airport now. And then Daki tells him everything that happened here in detail and asks him to come here quickly. But then she can see that the boss, sitting in that car, has started escaping from there. But now Daki couldn't understand whether she should go to the call center and save people or follow the boss's car. That's why, after thinking a lot, when she was trying to go forward to follow the boss's car, then Meso comes in front of her with Jae-min. And after seeing him, they quickly try to save him. Her friend Sukja quickly calls an ambulance and arranges to send him to the hospital. But we can see that Jae-min, even in this condition, gives that mobile to Daki and says that all our boss's words are recorded in this, through which he can very easily reach jail. And after this, he says sorry to her that even though I didn't want to, I scammed many people, of whom you were also one. So please forgive me. But after hearing this, Daki becomes very emotional. And she tells him, I'll deal with you later. First, you get well. After this, when Daki properly checks that video, then she can see that in this video, her boss's voice has come, but her boss's face hasn't come properly because the mobile had broken during the fighting. But then Sukja, listening carefully to their conversation, understands that their boss will very quickly board a flight to another city. But by this time, police and ambulance arrive nearby. So Daki hands over those boys to the police here, and quickly starts going from here towards the airport. But by this time, Benny had also come to this place. And when Benny tries to talk to the Chinese police here, then since he couldn't speak Chinese, that's why he couldn't communicate with them. But then Sukja starts helping him. And through this police, they find out that actually this warehouse was used not only as a call center, but also for keeping drugs. And by then, a call from the police chief comes to Benny from Korea. And the police chief tells him that if the real criminal escapes from there, then don't waste time there. Come back to Korea quickly, because there are many cases pending here. But after this, Benny finds out that the real criminal is preparing to escape from here by catching a flight. That's why he somehow convinces the local police, so that they help him catch that criminal. On this side, Daki also comes to the airport. But finding that boss among so many people at the airport was difficult for her. But then her eyes fall on a person whose style of looking at time on his watch makes Daki understand immediately that this is the boss. Because she had seen this same scene in the video too. That's why she starts following him. But very soon, that boss also understands that Daki is actually following him. That's why that boss suddenly comes and sits in front of Daki and asks her, "Why are you following me?" Then Daki, without thinking about anything, says that because of your scam, I lost $32,000. That's why I will follow you. Then this boss tells her that for just $32,000, you came from Korea to China. Saying this, he takes out $100,000 from his bag and puts it in front of Daki and says, "Take this money and leave from here quickly, otherwise you'll stay in China for the rest of your life, because I'll kill you right here." But after hearing this, Daki's friend tells her that since we got the money back, why should we create trouble for nothing? Let's leave from here. But we can see that Daki didn't want to accept this in any way. Instead, she throws the money at that boss's face and tells him that taking advantage of my situation and my honesty, you robbed me. Do you think I'll let you go so easily? And I'll take your money and leave from here so that you get more courage back and you can rob more people like me. I won't let you go so easily. And after hearing this, that boss becomes completely shocked. And he just starts staring at Daki. But Daki then tells him that you have only one option now. You quickly surrender to the police. Otherwise, I swear by my children, I won't let you leave from here in any way. But after hearing this, the boss gets very angry. That's why he drags her to the washroom and starts beating her up badly. But we can see that Daki wasn't backing down from her anger in any way. She was still saying that in any way, she would hand him over to the police. But by then, the boss's flight time arrives. That's why the boss leaves Daki there and goes to catch the flight. But then suddenly he notices that his passport has disappeared from his pocket. And then he thinks that maybe during the fight, Daki had taken the passport from his pocket. That's why he runs back to the washroom. And coming here, he can see that indeed Daki had his passport in her hand. And then Daki tells him, "Didn't I tell you? I swear by my children that I won't let you leave from here in any way." Saying this, she tears the main page of his passport and chews and swallows it. And after seeing this, the boss's anger increases so much that he beats up Daki badly. But we can see Daki laughingly tells him that you probably made many people cry a lot by scamming them. But today I made you cry. Today I trapped you. And after hearing this, the boss becomes completely shocked. And he starts staring at Daki attentively. He was probably thinking, without bragging about life, how can a woman do so much? After this, the boss gets extremely angry and tries to strangle Daki to death. But by this time, the police arrive here. And when Officer Benny comes and sees that Daki is injured, then he catches that scammer and beats him up badly. But by this time, Daki had proven herself because the criminal that the police couldn't catch for 10 years, Daki caught that criminal in just 2 months. Anyway, on the other side, we can see that Jaemin had also completely recovered, and he had informed the police about everything. That's why the police had completely sealed that place. On the other side, that boss's lawyer came and was trying to convince Daki in any way. He was saying, "You withdraw the case, you'll be given $1 million. Not 1, but 5 shops will be opened for you." But Daki wasn't paying any attention to his words at all. Daki tells him that you're showing me the greed of the victim's money. Actually, when your boss rots in jail for 20 years, then he'll understand how terrible the punishment for scamming can be. That's why she directly refuses to withdraw the case. Although Daki didn't get her money back, but the revenge she took was actually more satisfying than getting the money back. And a little later, we can see Daki's children video call her. They were actually waiting for Daki to cut the cake. Actually, since today was Daki's birthday, they wanted to celebrate their mother's birthday. And with such a happy ending, this entire movie ends right here.